Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum,
I'm Sam.
and today we're having a look at the Glendronach Traditionally Peated.
Alrighty, so today we're going to be doing the Glendronach Traditionally Peated. I know we've been traditionally going with the kind of more budget stuff in lockdown just because it's thematic and because it's helpful for us on the wallet. But I saw this and it was new, and I love Glendronach because it's basically like dessert for us, all the sherry finishing, and I had to pick it up. $115, and it sits at 48%. So it's pretty nice proof.
Yeah, I've never seen this
Not too
anywhere,
bad price.
by the way.
I think it's new here, or at least it's new for now. I think they do releases and it's come out again recently.
So I've heard really good things, but I've just never seen it.
Yeah, it said new at Dan Murphy's. But yeah, $115. Got a new Glen can because the other one was broken. So basically traditionally peated. They've gone back to that kind of like old style peated whiskey. Back in the old days, they used to dry their malted barley with was the dried peat. That's what they used to heat it up and dry out those barley grains. This is not like Islay peat. You're not gonna get that. It's not got that salty brine.
No.
Nor does it have like an Ardbeggy kind of like barbecue note. It's definitely smoky. It's just
it's a Highland peat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a Highland peat. So it's it's different.
Same but different.
It smells very Highlandy. It has that like kind of cereal malty kind of funk.
It's got like that pepperiness as well.
Yeah, it's got that peppery hit and a little ashiness and smoke.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's necessarily like the peat that you're used to with Islay.
It's almost licorice.
I was gonna say because I've tasted already. Really. And there is like a nice kind of like hint of licorice, especially on the finish. It's like a dry
super
licorice.
Thick. Yeah. Thick and oily.
It's quite oily. I like the 48% for this one. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the sherry bomb that the 12 is.
I'm glad it's not.
Speaking of age, it's not an age statement, but we're assuming it's sitting. It's a nice color, but it's not as dark as a 12. We're assuming it's sitting around like the 5 to 8 year mark, most likely.
I'm glad it's not so sherried, by the way. It'd be weird. A peated sherry. I think that'd be kind of
sherry, like the
but the sickly sweetness of Glendronach, I reckon it'd just be. It'd be weird.
You are walking like two fine lines. Walking peated line and sweet sherry line they're both kind of, you got to be careful. But yeah, so it's definitely got that kick of sherry. It's got Pedro Menez. What's the other one? It's got Port, Pedro Menez, and Oloroso sherry casks. So yeah, it's got a lot of impact from that, but it's also got that kind of like extra peppery, ashy kick from the peat. But
same with like the honeyness as well. There's like honey from the malt.
Yeah, there's a lot of sweetness and a lot of dark fruits, but don't expect the peat to be the kind of same peat that you get with Islay whiskies. It's not got a Lafroig brine. It's not got an Ardbeg barbecue. It's it's very different. It's got like more salty, peppery notes. Well, not even salty. It's just got more ashy, peppery notes. I reckon is what you'd say. But it's also super high in those cereal notes, those malt cereal notes, and those like just sprinkled over with honey and raisins. I do like the extra sweetness in that though. It helps me. It's really nice. It's a really nice nose, but it does smell obviously Highland Space ID. That peat just kind of like shows up in the background at like faintly. It's enough to. It's there enough that you'd notice it, but not there enough that you're like, oh, this is like, this is an Islay. You'd never think it's an Islay.
It's very floral on the palate. Yeah. Floral with a subtle peat in the end. I don't know why my Siri's picked up. I'm going to try and cancel that. Siri just turned on when I was speaking there. It's very floral forward. And that ash and pepper is kind of taking a back seat.
I get cloves as well. It's like this rye kind of, not rye, but like that kind of like spice, green spice kind of impact.
Yeah, spices,
fresh cloves and stuff. A little bit of cinnamon. It's a weird one. We do apologize.
Orange zestiness as well.
just will put it out there. We are having internet troubles. I don't know why, but anytime you see any stuttering and stuff, I'll try and chop it together so it sits as well as it can. But the internet, there's nothing you can do about it.
I don't know why, because we both have good internet. But
yeah, I don't know.
There's an orange zestiness. Yeah.
Definitely an orange zestiness. It's like candied orange zest. Like, you know how they like coat it in sugar, like cook it and like it's like that candied orange zest. It's like bang on.
I can't even remember what, like, apart from just the sherry bomb of the old Glendronach. Was it just the 12 that we had? Is that what?
Did you say sherry bong?
I wish we had sherry bongs. Sherry bomb of the Glendronach.
Sherry cask is a bong. Yes. Oh god.
Yep. Was it? We had the Glendronach 12, wasn't it? It was the 12 that we had. Yeah, with the Glendronach 12, I can't even remember the notes past that sherry bomb.
It's kind of
obviously the maltiness.
It kicked away.
I can't pull any individual flavor.
The like massive kick of sherry kind of overtook and outshined any of those like harsh malty notes. It kind of got rid of any of those like super musty notes. It like was just overshadowed by just this rich, deep, funky sweetness. Yeah, so whereas with this, the mustiness and stuff is there. That Highland mustiness, the kind of malty funk and stuff. It's definitely not as sherry impacted as the 12. It's less oily. It's much brighter. Not like it's you can tell it's more youthful, but not to the point where it's like it's too young. It's more bright in the way that like the peat is spiky, the ash is spiky. They're like light, bright notes. You've got the deep sherry notes, but you've also got those other light, spiky notes. You've got some like acidic cherry notes and light spices. You've got the candied orange mandarin peel kind of thing going on.
Yep.
Instead of it just being every single egg in the sherry basket kind of thing. Like, this is a bit more divided. It's definitely got it there. There's definitely a sherry basket, but it's much more evenly dispersed compared to the 12. So don't expect it to be like the 12 with peat added. It's not that. It's a completely different tasting whiskey.
Yeah. Did you mention how much this cost, by the way?
Yeah, 115.
115?
Yeah, from Dan Murphy's. I don't know how much it'll be everywhere else, and I don't know how much it'll deviate or fluctuate. I don't know what kind of limitations in the production and stuff for this is. I believe they do runs though. This isn't the only peated one they've ever released. They've released just like a Glendronach Peated and stuff. There's not the second. I don't know. It's not the first time they've done the traditionally peated. They've got a few different versions. I spilled whiskey everywhere. But it's quite rare for Highland and Speyside distilleries to do any sort of Highland, do any peated releases within their distilleries, because peat is a pain in the ass to like get out of things. Like smoke sticks, those molecules hang around. So most of the time when it's being done, it'll be done as a certain run, and it'll be done like at a time that kind of coincides with their annual like massive cleanup of all their, getting a professional cleaning company in to just like do everything, that once a year big cleanup. A lot of the time that's the case. So maybe that's why it kind of is coming out in certain kind of staggered releases once a year. And I don't know what that effect will have on availability and price, but I assume it just won't be available. I assume it'll be available like for a lot of people, but just not for a long time. But I would recommend picking it up, but just don't expect what I did, which was a peated Glendronach 12. It's not that.
Where would you rank these? What?
Like in regards to what?
Yeah, the other Glendronach that we've tried, the normal 12.
The 12 is better for me.
Yeah.
This is a bit more dramatic in like the kind of bright, punchy notes. But it's less deep. It's not as thick and oily and dense. Even though this is a higher proof than the 12, it still doesn't feel as dense of flavors, because those sherry, Pedro Menes and stuff, port notes, they're just like so thick with the 12. And it really is like you're having a sticky date pudding after dinner. That's how I treat it, as like a dessert. Instead of having port, I'll have, if I feel like port, I'll have, you know, the Glendronach 12 because it's close enough. This is very much more akin to a typical Highland with some extra sherry notes and peated notes. Yeah. Whereas the Glendronach 12 is like quite separated from that. It's like, it's very specifically very, very dramatically
sherried.
Sherried. Whereas this is a lot more typical for a Highland malt to taste. So I think I'd go the 12 above this just because it is more unique and just more of like a desserty and just my kind of thing. But this itself is like a very interesting and quite nice drink. Like I would say yes to this.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
There's nothing wrong with it. I would look for maybe just, I reckon a 12-year age statement could make this thing like a bit more kind of cohesive, I guess, and maybe flatten out some of those harsher notes. But then it turns it into a different whiskey again. Like peat is not meant to be smooth, you know, like that's just kind of, they're mutually exclusive tastes and stuff, I guess. So overall, I'd say this is a very interesting release when you're used to the Glendronach's usual kind of releases with the 12, but it's not insanely unique in itself, being a, you know, sherry peated whiskey.
I'd rank the 12 above this. This is just too I don't know. It's nice, but the Glendronach 12, probably because that's what I had first. Yeah, I just associate Glendronach with sherry.
Yeah.
And when I think Glendronach, I expect sherry like you did.
Yeah. And
when you get this kind of peatiness, it's nice. It's not bad by any means. Go pick this up, but it's just not what I expect from Glendronach.
Yeah, Glendronach has like this kind of placeholder in your mind to be a certain expectation of like a kick in the ass of sherry and stuff. And this doesn't deliver that. And that's not a problem because it delivers something nice, but it's not what I think of when I think of Glendronach. I think of the 12, I guess. Just got a connection is unstable, so we'll roll this one out before the connection becomes too unstable to do anything. Alrighty, if you like this episode of Everything Whiskey, leave us a like. If you want to see future episodes from us, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. If you do, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.